let's bring this into Photoshop. Let me talk about this. Let's get the reference. White, like a titanium white, is very milky, and so it's really not a great paint for translucency because it is very milky. Colors that are really good for translucency are burnt sienna, alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue. Those are really good for translucency because they come out of the tube. I'm speaking with the oil paints that I've used. Acrylic is a whole different can of worms, but I'm sure with acrylic paint, you can, after painting for a while, you can start to discern which acrylic paint is thinner, meaning it doesn't really cover the white canvas well, and which acrylic paint is thicker and it covers really well. I know that titanium white covers really well, so it's a thicker paint. I wouldn't want to use it for glazing or translucent areas. Now listen, if I was going to do this painting, it's a very warm portrait. I would use these colors and these colors only. I would use burnt umber, which is a really gray brown. I would use burnt sienna. That's a very red, those are two ends. That's a very red brown. I would use a touch of any orange. It could be, I always use Windsor because they're not toxic. Windsor orange, yellow ochre, titanium white, and if I wanted to, I could use blue to mix with the burnt umber to make a dark black, a tinted dark black, but I'm going to say I'm going to use ivory black. Those are the colors. Now, I could eliminate burnt umber. So now we're dealing with 1, 2, and I could eliminate the orange. But let's keep it. Give us more options. I could eliminate the orange and I can make that a red. So I can make an orange by mixing the red and the yellow ochre together. So Windsor red, 3, 4, 5 tubes of paint I would use, okay? So if I'm going to get this color, the dark, I'm going to mix ivory black with the burnt sienna. If I'm going to get this color, I'm going to mix a little bit of the Windsor red with the yellow ochre. If I'm going to get this color, I'm going to use the burnt sienna. I would have liked to have used the burnt sienna with a little bit of the burnt umber because the burnt umber is the gray brown. But I could use a touch of the burnt sienna with a touch of the black to get this with some white, of course. Okay, so that's the color. Now let's talk about the portrait. For me personally, you're missing the most powerful tool that this photograph is providing you. And the most powerful tool is the line that separates the light from the dark, providing you with your shadow and your light. And then we pick it up over here. We have the line that separates the light from the dark. We have our shadow and we have our light. We have the line that separates the light from the dark. So you're missing these shadow shapes. Everything that I'm outlining here, for me personally, is a shadow shape. Now, this is confusing. That is light bouncing up from the white and bouncing into her jawbone. You don't want to deal with that. That's just a confusing thing. That's a wild card. People pop reflected lights too much. You want to think of this whole thing as just more of a shadow side to the head, shadow side to the fabric. So what do you have? You have pretty much your light, and you have your light over here in your shadow, and your shadow shape is not dark enough. So that's what I would work on the most. What I would work on the most is taking the color that you have in her hair, however you mix that, and giving her a shadow shape. Doesn't have to be so harsh, but you would really benefit from just utilizing practice with the line that separates the light from the dark. Now, obviously, I'm doing it in Photoshop and I'm not being really neat with it, but I'm showing you that should be your first brush strokes, and then the darker I go, the more I like it. Now, those nostrils, you don't want those nostrils to pop out that much as a young girl, so you surround the dark nostril with your shadow shape, and you make that nostril a little bit lighter. Your light is perfect. Now, you can turn this a little bit. Look at that. That's going to help you tremendously. Now, let's talk about some angles. Angle of the jaw, angle of the jaw, angle of the chin, which is the jaw. You have this much too horizontal for too long. You see it? Look at this big angle, 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 angle down. Focus on this as more of a triangular shape. Half circle. Simple angle. Look at this big angle. Hope I gave you some ideas. It's an awesome piece of reference. It's very soft. It's very good. I just want to see what happens when I just play with making it sharper. Yeah. Nostrils just have to be a little bit lighter on your piece. You don't want to do this line. Instead, you want to look for this side plane shadow. Okay? Very fun. All right. Did I miss anybody? Nope. I'll see you guys in the member podcast.